Ah, Valentine's Day, a time to spend with one's beloved, with one's partner, with one's friends. Well, Sean's with his fiance, so why don't we talk about Pneumamancy? Welcome to the Homebrew Crew. I'm Tony, and today is Valentine's Day, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about a new wizarding subclass that was posted on the DMsguild, and that is Pneumamancy. Now, Pneumamancy is the connection between people, so it's not so much the kissy-kissy kind of love, but more the camaraderie and fellowship kind of love. And this is a really great class regardless, but I figured it was fitting for Valentine's Day. So let's get into this subclass because we're going to go through pretty quick. I'm sure you guys have plans for the evening as well. All right, so first thing here is at second level, when you choose this wizarding subclass, you get Strings of Fate. Now, you have taken the bonds between people and you can actually form this little ball of red silvery thread, and you connect this thread to people in your party. Now, it's up to half of your wizarding level is the number of people you can do that to. I would suggest making this up to the spellcasting modifier or whatever you have in that, and you'll see why a little bit later. But basically, you're able to grant one of 3 boons once per long rest, and that is either a ward, where you give everyone you're connected to 1 AC, a motivate, which you can, and this is kind of crazy because you can get some really awesome speed out of this, but it increases by 5 times your intelligence modifier, or fellowship, in which case you choose 1 ability, and those people that you're connected to now have advantage on all checks and saving throws that are connected to that ability, which is kind of a neat thing. It kind of puts you at the center of attention as far as being, part of a group. And I really like that mechanic. I like the idea of tying and binding people together. In fact, I'm working on a little subclass myself, the Crazy X Barbarian, which goes on the exact opposite of that, but we'll fill you in later on that. So the next thing that you get here is at second level as well, and this one's called Companionate Skills. And yes, I did say that right. Basically what this is anyone that you're soulbound to, you're able to take a skill or a tool proficiency that they're proficient in, and you can use that yourself. You become proficient in it. Now, it increases a little bit at 10th level, and then you can actually take one of their cantrips, which is kind of neat, and you can swap these out during a short rest. So if you've got, you're bound to one person over here and another one over there, you bind yourself to the druid, and you can maybe take that, druidcraft spell or that thorn whip there, to pull people closer to you or what have you. But you can only choose either one skill or one cantrip on there, so you can't just kind of mix and match. But every short rest, you can swap it out for another one that they know or another person you're bound to knows. Now, at 6th level, I know I'm going kind of fast, but there's a lot to cover here. It's a really, really great class. 6th level is probably my favorite ability that they get, and this one is really, really neat. This one is called Legit Vitality. And yes, I did pronounce that correctly again. Legit Vitality, Legit is the camaraderie between people. And basically what happens with this is that if a friend of yours that you're bound to takes damage during a fight, you can use your reaction to roll some of your hit dice and they regain back health. Now, I really like the idea of only being able to do it to people you're bound to, and I would actually have this more of a commitment thing, but I really, really like this ability. You guys know how I feel about hit dice, so that shouldn't be surprising, but it is a really, really cool ability and a good use of those hit dice too. Now, at 10th level, this is where things get kind of cool. This one here allows you to actually share some spells. Well, sort of. This one's called Joint Arcana. And what happens here is that your soulbound magic to people, you get to pick one person that you're soulbound to. And if you cast a spell on yourself that affects you, it also affects them, which is kind of cool. Little things like that, and the cool stuff that I really like about this is that if you're concentrating on a spell, you only have to concentrate for yourself. So if they get hit with it, the spell doesn't break. So it's all up to your connection, your bond, and how well you can withstand that. Little spells like if you were to use Misty Step, for example, they also get to pick where they wind up. You don't just get to poof them anywhere you want. But it also means that they can grab another person with them, which is kind of cool. This has a lot of really great use to it, and I think it's, you kind of have to play around with some of the spells that are there. There's only so many self-target abjuration or, enhancement spells that are there, but if you really play into it, this could be super, super helpful. Now, on 14th level, this is where things get a little bit wonky for me, and that's the reason why in the beginning I mentioned only having this be one of the spellcasting modifiers with that. And this spell is called Unbreakable Heart. Now, it's not so much a spell as it is an ability with it, but the same thing applies with this. Everybody you share a soulbound connection to gets resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and they can't be charmed or persuaded in a way. And it's kind of a neat little ability to have, but I would look at this as limiting it to the number of party members that you have instead of being bound up to 10 people at 20th level. Now, it does say you can bind to creatures, so if you have a pet, you can still do that, which is kind of a neat little thing there, but I would still limit this to that. Now, this is a great one to pick up. It's very cheap over on the DMsguild with it, and you can definitely pick it up there. This one, again, is Pneumamancy, and it's by Makenzie De Armas. I would definitely recommend checking this out. Throw it in your campaign, whether it be a campaign for Valentine's Day, which is almost over, but it can be used in many other forms. Maybe you guys can play with it a little bit. If you've got ideas on how you can put this into your campaign, go ahead and post them in the comments below. We would love to see them. I want to send a heartfelt thanks to all of our Patreons out there. You guys are great and you keep us going. I know it doesn't seem like much, just to become a Patreon for that, but there are little things that we're putting in there now, and we're starting our own Patreon-only channel that's going through there too in the next coming month. So remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed. So until next time, keep brewing.